Okay, part two of the podcast because of technical difficulties. So, Akka, can you tell about why you named your brand Leela in Yoga Lifestyle?
Um,
It's like that, right? Leela Yoga Lifestyle.
yeah. So the essence of Leela really spoke to me. Um, it started with the training when I was at the training in the very early days. Because I was really outside my comfort zone when you come from a very different kind of environment and then you're poured into just another container altogether. Um, One of my favorite human beings and teachers said that treat this like a game and just play the game. And the more I stopped taking myself so seriously and just getting involved and playing, a certain amount of intensity started something. And it was that path of playfulness which has helped me arrive here through things that have happened in my life. The ups and downs have been, I think, in extremes. But now here was this path that really spoke to me. And I just wanted to share this experience because I also learned that if you really want to um, reinvent yourself, you have to change your lifestyle, because it's not only one aspect of your life that will change and then things will turn around for you. No, holistically. So it's the yoga is an important aspect, but then so is your diet, and then so is the books you want to read, the content you want to consume, in all whatever form it may be. So it was that which also made me realize that this is a lifestyle brand. And I'm really into trying to maintain a pure seed and keep things traditional, because the essence of yoga is a very, very classical approach, and hence all of it coming together was the Leela Yoga lifestyle, a classical approach to yoga lifestyle. Yeah. And the yoga journey is more than the physical, there's the things you want to own, and how consciously are you doing that too. So any kind of alternative which was moving towards a more conscious means of living was becoming a lifestyle. And then the journey continues. Like I said, it's now my third year, and oh, it's been phenomenal, the kinds of opportunities which have come. So yeah, that's the backline. And also the logo, it's just the desire and the dream is to reach a state of consciousness which is really evolved, and then the way, the journey, playfully, which takes us there. Yeah.
Awesome. So, okay, like before lockdown, like how many classes would you take per month, or how do you like?
Okay, so I was teaching quite regularly. So people here are still new to workshop style of yoga. They usually used to going to a class, attending sessions weekly or something. So I still have to, educate people on, you come to learn a complete practice over a certain period of sessions, and then you do it on your own. I was teaching maybe 2 or 3 workshops a month. It depended on which practice was being offered. So in January, we had Angamardana and Surya Kriya and Bhuta Shuddhi, sorry. And then now there's also an interest of Isha's style of yoga, because I'm the only teacher
Okay.
to be outside of Nairobi city.
Okay.
So I had the privilege of going to Mombasa, which is a city by our coast, to teach there for 1 week, and it was phenomenal how it was received there. And then I've also attended a yoga retreat and taught as a teacher on a yoga retreat with other teachers, but the classical Isha style of yoga. So I teach maybe 2-3 times a month in workshops, and then privately I work with a few students based on what their needs are. Yeah.
So I always wanted to know, how does a Hatha Yoga teacher maintain this sadhana in between all these classes? It's something that intrigues me.
Yeah, it's I think the standard you get to set for yourself is so high that it begins with measuring yourself on some level, and already it's a real pedestal you want to stay on. So just taking it one day at a time, and recognizing that your environment is so powerful, and sometimes as much as you want to do sadhana, there are just so many limitations to like how you would do sadhana in the ashram, and accepting those days as I'm trying to be as conscious as I can, but today things are not working, and I'm just going to be with it. Initially it was so easy, it just used to happen, and then more and more things pile on, and then some days it's not so seamlessly easy. The point is just the consistency, to stay consistent, and when on days that you fall off, it's okay. Those are the days I feel, especially if I've missed my sadhana day, which happens, I just know, oh, I know I'm missing something, as if I haven't had my dessert today, or there's something, you're aware, and the process is alive within you, and still benefits of the yoga I have intensely done over a small period of time for 6 months. I'm still enjoying the benefits of that, because like some things change and then they change forever. So I know I'm just better off than I started, and that just keeps me going.
Great, great. So now I want to go back into a conversation when you talked about, you were going through PTSD, post-traumatic stress,
Yeah.
you're going through depression. Right now, like one of our famous actors, he committed suicide.
Yeah.
So even I have gone through depression, but what is it on a day-to-day basis that, you made you to take the next step? Like maybe someone out there is going through this. So what did you do at that time? Sometimes it might be very hard to get to the next day. So how was it like that for you? And if not, it's fine. But what was it like a day for you? That's what I want to know, so that someone who might be going through the same thing might be able to relate.
You're taking me back in time now. I honestly I found myself doing the bare minimum, which was so unfortunate, but I just couldn't bring myself to get out of bed some days, and I just didn't want to talk to anybody. It was just so dark. Everything was just so dark, and I just kept feeling that there was this pain and it just wasn't going away, and this innate acute suffering, but the suffering just had to do, there were questions. I was just looking for some kind of explanation, some answer. I don't even really know what the question was, but I was looking for answers, and there was nothing that seemed around me to just make sense. And what really helped, I think, just getting out. I think the moment I had the courage to just step out, that because depression can make you so depressive, you don't even leave. You make a little cocoon, and then you just want to stick in it. And just getting out was the beginning. That just step out and put yourself out again and again in different ways. And then meditation. Maybe I'm more introverted in nature now as I have grown up. I think I used to be an extrovert when I was younger, but now I want less talking, more silence, and meditation helped to untangle so many of my tangled up thoughts and emotional imbalances, And I think it's really important to talk. You have to find a way to express yourself, and, everyone should have that one person. And it doesn't need to be your best friend. Sometimes it just needs to be a confidant, where you can really non-judgmentally pour all your emotional release out to. And there are people who listen, and anybody who listens also benefits. So it's such a beautiful two-way transaction to share so vulnerably with people. So and trust in divine intervention. I don't know if it sounds like a bit like I don't know what the word is, but divine intervention is so real, and connecting to that somehow, things just turned for the better. And again, Vipassana taught me impermanence.
Okay. What is that,
That
Akka?
impermanence, the concept of anicca, that constantly we are changing, everything is changing. So to stay with that realization that if times are bad, it will change. It has to change. And when times are good, that too will change.
Oh no.
That completely living in the awareness of the impermanent nature of any experience of life, feeling or thing or whatever it may be. Just experientially understanding that.
So why I asked this question is now that you are from there till here, you're doing all these yogic practices on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. So do these things again pop up, or like it's gone altogether?
No, I feel like I can't recognize that person. The interesting thing is maybe I can see from a distance that there was a person like this, but the evolution has been such a exponential scales that now I feel I can look back a year ago and say, wow, that person is not me anymore. So I'm very aware that through sadhana, acceleration of life, that catching this fast train or whatever, getting on the bus, it's really happening. So constantly being aware that yes, that this person was once there and completely does not define who I am. And that's why I resonate so much with how Sadhguru talks about reinventing yourself. There's also this wonderful Jewish author called Yuval Noah Harari. Have you heard of the book Sapiens?
Yes, I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
Yeah, so the author of that, he just talks, also he spends 3-4 months a year doing Vipassana.
Oh, okay.
Or is it 2 months? Yeah, a year, yeah. And he's an avid meditator, and he's also in touch with the impermanent nature of life. And he goes that at the times we're living in now require more emotional intelligence as opposed to IQ. And the EQ quotient needs to start to spend more time being cultivated. And through that single experience of emotional intelligence, you're able to reinvent yourself and be relevant with the times. Because every time you resist change, you start to also become depressive, because there's this flux. You're stuck in a limbo. You're not flowing and moving. So reinventing yourself and the ability to just to live in the moment of inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale. And one day it's going to live with the fact that your motor nature is very, very much the core of this experience. Yeah. Have you read the book Death?
Yes, I've read it. Yes.
It was really, really one of the most beautiful gifts of the year, because this year was the 10th death anniversary of my sister. And this happened in January, and the book came out for Mahashivratri in February. And I am so lucky I had it just within a week or so after Mahashivratri. So, wow, the concept and the exploration of it, all of it, it's too brief, this human experience we're having. So if you just keep yourself around the right people, also that can help. Yeah. There's so many positive things, really. I know it's hard to see them, but maybe just faith even, just know that collectively we're moving to better things.
So this is something I want to ask. Like you talked about Amazon, right? So how does one person get there and stay there? I thought it's a forest, we can't stay there. Like how?
Okay, so the forest is huge, and
Okay.
it spreads across countries as well.
Okay.
But how you get there, I was backpacking, so
Okay.
I was literally living one day at a time. I didn't even know where I would be sleeping the next night at
Oh,
times.
okay.
I would get to the airport and not even know where I was going. I would just look at where are the flights going, and
Oh.
then pick a location
Uh-huh.
and just get on a flight, because everything I had was on my back and I had no agenda. I was simply going through backpacking. So talking to people, and my own personal research, you identify what airports are around which major cities, what is the transport networks, and getting to the Amazon, there's so many ways to do it, so it's not difficult anymore. The backpacking culture is one of the most evolved in South America. So many mature backpackers from around the world spend time moving through South America. So there's so many hostels and backpackers. And then there are like malokas and basically small camps of sorts within the Amazon jungle, which has now started to come around. So you can go and stay like that, work with shamans or people living natively still within the jungle. It's just like nothing I had seen before, really.
Awesome, Akka. So how can the viewers, listeners reach out to you? Do you have a website or Instagram? Like,
Yeah, so my website is under construction right now,
okay.
because I really wanted to capture the essence of what classical Leela and lifestyle will bring. But on Instagram, just Leela lifestyle, Leela yoga lifestyle. Yeah, is my handle.
Great, Akka. I'll link it in the description. So anything last that you'd like to leave the, listeners, someone who wants to take teacher training or do a program or anything just like that?
The only thing that calls to me now that you're asking me is that it's so important to connect your intuition and just let your intuition guide you. That has been the single most prevalent force that has guided my life in so many ways. Now when I can look back and backtrack and see, oh, how these dots are connecting to each other to bring me where I am, and that even against your logical mind, if something is guiding you, follow it. Just follow an intuitive call and see where it takes you.
Great, Akka. So thank
Yeah,
you
and
so
I have a
much. Yeah.
question for you,
Oh,
Vaisu.
me. Finally, I get a question on my podcast. Yes, please.
Yeah. Um, what is it like for you to connect with all these different people and hear all these different stories about how in such different ways and through such different experiences we have somehow all arrived along the same path, and we're all experiencing it in the same way, but in different ways, but it's the same thing. So how is it for you to, for I'm like in Africa, you spoke to people in the US or in India, different parts of India, and you continue to cover the world as you're going. So please share.
It is like initially I simply started it like I used to take sharings from meditators. So like I always say, they would say, I would also say like, this is, we need to promote Isha, promote inner engineering, and then they would say, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling like this, super, this has transformed my life. And then suddenly when I switch off the camera, they're like, I'm struggling with my practices, a lot of things are happening, things that had settled when I'd done the program, I'm still doing the sadhana, still it's not happening. So that's when something hit me, like, okay, there is something more to this. Like even though they are struggling, they are willing to share about it. It's not easy, like I'm just a stranger, but they're willing to share. And when I look back on my own journey, something that led me to spirituality was, I had read this book, autobiography of a yogi.
Oh
So
yes, game changer.
yeah,
Yeah.
so in that, Yogananda Paramsa doesn't say, okay, this gave me this gave me that. He mostly talks about his struggles of finding a guru, like even finding a guru, trying to leave him and go. So that was the one book that genuinely connected with me, and I could see that these meditators were just like him. Like all of them were like going through the same things. So then I thought, I need to capture that, like, because that was something that touched me, like more than promoting Isha or inner engineering. I want that to come out, because I felt that would connect, like someone who is genuine. It's very less to find out in the world. Like till I had come to Isha, like everyone would put out what is best in their life. They were never willing to show
Yeah.
like okay, you just easily shared about your depression and post-traumatic stress. People don't share like that. People are like, nothing happened, no one knows about that. They are very
Yeah.
so
Of course, because it's so you become so vulnerable and you're always trying to protect something, Then once you become aware, what am I protecting? And then there's really nothing there. You drop a veil
yeah.
of personification. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Um, well, thank you for connecting us in such an interesting and authentic way. And all the content you create.
Thank you, Akka.
Yes.
So I'll definitely put all of this in the description. And now I'll stop the
Okay.
recording and then I'll ask you for some things that I need.
Okay.